All right, welcome back to the Weekend Edition. We've got a lot of interesting musical experiences to share with you today. We've got some amazing guests, husband and wife duo, business enterprise. How would you describe yourselves?
Well, we artists, performers, and entrepreneurs.
All right, but you guys always perform together? Is it or is it just for today or on special occasions?
Yeah, we perform together most of the time.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we've got Mthwakazi and Luyolo.
Yes.
She calls you Luyo.
Leo.
Leo. Yeah, okay, that threw me off. So you guys have some very interesting instruments here which you made yourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
What is this instrument?
This one is called Uadi.
Okay,
It's a Xhosa bow instrument,
okay.
but also the Zulus have it, but it's a middle-braced bow. It's quite long with a calabash in the middle.
Yeah.
And then also the Zulus, they will have ugubu, and then we call it, in Sesotho, we call it tomo. So I came across these instruments while I was doing my first year at the University of Fort Hare. I enrolled to go and study indigenous music.
Yes.
So I came across the instruments, so they inspired me a lot.
Where would we get this calabash? What is that?
Well, you plant them. It belongs to a family of pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
You can actually even use the insides for like a smoothie or anything. But the seeds, you dry them and then you can use them again for.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going to perform a song, and I was struggling with the name. What is it? Mwembula.
Yes.
I'm so bad. Which means a big guy, right?
Well, it's
a giant.
It's an arrival of a great person, but this person seems to be very gigantic and troublesome.
Oh, it sounds like me. So tell me a little bit about you. You studied. Are both of you classically trained?
Well, no, I studied as a sound engineer first, and I was a producer for quite a number of music genres, from kwaito to rap to, but eventually I was bored. I wanted to study more instruments, so I went to Fort Hare.
So when you were producing music, you didn't know how to play a single instrument?
No,
You were just the guy on the keys, and you were sampling, and just, so you're, all right, wow. So you went to Fort Hare, and now you play how many instruments?
About 20 now.
Now, when you say you play 20 instruments, does it mean you've mastered 20 instruments, or does it mean that you can handle?
I master all the bows, and you've got quite a number of a variety of them, about 10,
Right.
I master the marimbas as well,
Yeah.
I'm a good percussionist,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and I can master my guitar too, so I dabble on the piano and then drums here and there.
Is that a natural gift that you both have for music, or is it just your passion and dedication to wanting to learn?
Yeah, I think it is a very natural gift because, I mean, from the age of 6, I could always tell my parents that I want to sing, I want to perform. So I would stand in front of the TV, in front of the hi-fi, like imitating Brenda Fassie and Miriam Makeba, getting all sweaty, So I always knew that I would be a performer one day, So it comes in naturally because I grew up from a church environment. My life is basically very musical, as much as I remember it,
So, you studied in London, right?
Yes, I studied
at 13.
Paris. No, I was not 13. I was 21.
Oh, okay.
I did a musical production. It was called The Mysteries and the Magic Flute, but in a very Africanized way of doing it. Performing. So I studied and performed in London, Paris, and Holland, performing in different theaters, of course.
Right.
And that has really helped me and enhanced my skill of performing and understanding what a performer is, to be able to interact with the audience and make them focus into your performance without being bored.
And when at that time, what was your core strength? Was it opera music, or what was it?
Well, I auditioned with a company called Isango Portobello.
Yeah.
So it's basically a company that focuses on a young talent. So they teach you all the basics about performance preparation and performance.
Okay.
So it was a school for me to actually groom me to become a performer. So, yeah.
Wow. And now that you guys have delved into learning more about indigenous music, and you're actually trying to, I guess, preserve the heritage and culture and pass it on as well. We'll talk about that. What have been some of the interesting things that you found? Are there instruments that have been lost? Are there forms of music that have been lost? How do we, as a society, treat and relate to indigenous music?
Well, We have, in a big way, actually lost our music. You know, I mean, I was only 25 years when I came across the bows, and I do not believe that actually when they tell me that it's awesome music, and I find that my contemporaries, they're actually clueless.
Right.
You know, so it had to be a duty to us to be able to make the music cool by fusing it into the music that other people listen to, so that it comes back again. And we found that the music that we borrow is quite limited in terms of rhythm. You know, African music is quite rhythmic, and I tell you, when I talk about Xhosa music, you can have rhythms from 1 beat in a bar to up to 24 beats in 1 bar. Wow. And when you play them all like in cross rhythmic manner.
Yeah, right,
you know
right,
what I mean?
right.
Yeah, and I found that us, by emulating other music, we are letting go actually of a very big gift and actually highly developed music.
Right.
You know, and to settle for lesser, if I would say, because the boom bap is just
that
on top of that 4/4 count,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, now we are even trying to experiment with having rappers rap on a 7/4 beat or in a 9/4 beat.
7/4 beat, what?
Yes, you know, for instance, the song that you're going to be performing in Angola is on a 13/4 beat.
Okay.
But when we play it, we have to count it and divide it into 2 and play 6.5 beat and then 6.5 beat.
Are you also
again.
crossing the beat counts like you mentioned earlier? Are you changing from one to another in the song?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And this journey that you guys have been on, I mean, has it been a difficult one? Because obviously you have to kind of teach yourself, and I would imagine there are not many references for you to listen to or to learn from. So you're kind of having to figure it out without knowing what you're doing.
Yes.
Right?
It has been like that. It has been like that. But Forte University actually really helped because at least they have collected much about the music. You know? So yeah, it really
So is
helps.
it a lot of written music or is it a lot of recorded music that you used?
It's a lot of recorded music.
Right.
You know? Yes. Thanks to the man by the name Hugh Tracy, who had started in 1930 actually recording Southern African music.
Right.
You know, trying to preserve. And now they also have in Rhodes University an International Library of African Music.
Wow.
That's where also you can be able to find instruments and recordings of the instruments as well.
All right. Well, I'd love to hear this 7/4.